Hey everyone, this is Ryan from Blocks of Finance, and today we're going to go over 3 of my top altcoins, 2021 picks that I'm personally super bullish on, and after doing all of my own research that I've decided I personally think are going to do very, very well. Okay, so if you're looking for some altcoins to look into now, you want to know what are the best altcoins to buy, and you want to start diving into some projects and researching them. This video is going to be just for you. Now, obviously, this is YouTube. Don't rely on this or me for financial advice. Do your own research. This is just what I am personally investing in. It's what fits my risk profile and is what fits my personal interest. So I'm just trying to get this information out there for you so you can decide if these projects are things that you want to start researching yourself and make your own decisions about whether they're for you. So let's get right into it and jump into the first one. So the first one is actually personally my biggest holding right now, and that is Orion protocol. You might have seen a couple of days ago, I did a really in-depth video on this one. It was called The Biggest Sleeping Giant in Crypto, and I basically laid out everything about why I'm super bullish on Orion. Now, I personally think that this is very undervalued right now. It's being overlooked by most of the big influencers, not all, but most of them, and I think that this is going to kind of come out of nowhere and pull a bit of an Elrond run. They're actually building on Elrond and really take a lot of people by surprise. Now, if you don't know what it is, Orion is basically building a network of decentralized brokers that will allow you to, well, let's just read what they say here. It's going to provide you with a terminal that is going to be the first gateway to the entire crypto market. Okay, so you're going to be able to aggregate every centralized exchange, every decentralized exchange, and every swap pool into one decentralized platform. So essentially, you're going to have access to every pairing on every exchange, decentralized or centralized, every swap pool, and you won't need to have accounts on any of those exchanges. You won't need to do KYC, and you won't need to deposit your funds into an exchange in order to trade. It will be non-custodial. You can do all of that from your own wallet. Okay, so that is their key point, their key differentiator. So they're solving liquidity issues, access issues, security issues, all just in one platform. And they've been building this for a while. It's we're getting very close to launch. There's a private version of this live right now, but the full version is coming out this quarter. So that is Q1 2021. We're now in the middle of February, and the community is getting super excited for this. And you can just feel it bubbling under the surface. Price action recently, when I made my video a couple of days ago, we were just under $3. We are now just under $10. So things are starting to build. People are starting to feel excitement about this, and there's so much news coming out for this that I think it's really going to be a great one for 2021. If we look at some of their releases, they're constantly making partnerships. They're constantly releasing new things that we didn't even know that were coming. In the last 2 days or in the last 3 days, we've had 2 partnerships with a new Launchpad product that they've just released that we didn't even know about. Next week, we have a staking calculator coming out that is going to provide their official projections about what you can earn by staking the ORN token. And from what I've seen and from what I've read and from the hints that they've been dropping, this could potentially be the most profitable staking program in all of crypto. And their staking is not inflationary. It comes from revenue. It doesn't come from minting new tokens. So the tokenomics on Orion protocol, the ORN token, I think are some of the best out there. And I think this is going to be one of the best 2021 altcoins. And it's, like I said, my largest position. So I'd encourage you to go out there and start doing some research on Orion before it really gets mainstream coverage and starts getting on all the huge YouTube channels, because I think it's only a matter of time before that happens. So that's my personal biggest holding right now. That is Orion. Now, the second is the Energy Web token, okay? So this right now, $500 million, just under $500 million market cap, 109 in the rankings, okay? Now, You might say, well, that's kind of a large market cap. Once you start diving into this project, you will realize that that is nothing for what they're actually trying to achieve. Now, if you've just heard Energy Web, or you've seen the name on Twitter or whatever, but you're not really sure what it is, if you're someone that really is into fundamentals, you're into solid real world use cases, and you're into applications of blockchain technology outside of just crypto, applications in the real world, solving massive real world problems, then Energy Web is definitely a token that I would recommend that you look into, because for me, it probably has the strongest fundamentals out of any token out there right now, in terms of who they're working with, who's building on it, and what they're actually trying to achieve. So let's have a look at what it is. So this is the homepage, energyweb.org. So let's just have a look at their statement. So Energy Web is accelerating a low carbon, customer centric electricity system by enabling any energy asset owned by any customer to participate in any energy market. Wow, that's a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, so let's have a look at actually what that means, and the tools that they're building, and who's using it, and things like that, because this is a really in-depth project, and it's one that's going to take a lot of research. But the more you dig into it, the more you're just going to be like, oh my, like if they actually achieve what they're trying to do, which they are doing, it's hard to imagine the scope of how big this could potentially be. Okay, so basically, the Energy Web Foundation, which is a non-profit that was founded by some of the biggest energy companies in the world, which you can see some of them here. They're basically developing some open source decentralized technologies called the Energy Web DOS, which means the Decentralized Operating System, okay? And they have a global community of more than 100 energy market participants that are actually involved with this, using this and building on this, okay? So let's have a look at some of the solutions. And like I said, this project is so big, and the goals that they're tackling are so huge. I just want to give you a few little tidbits to kind of whet your appetite, so that you can then go and dive into this fully on your own, because there is a lot to go into, okay? So before we look at their tools, let's just read this. The Energy Web Decentralized Operating System is an open source stack of decentralized software and standards, including the Energy Web chain, okay, which is obviously the blockchain side, middleware services, software development toolkits. EWDOS is the grid's new digital DNA, a shared technology run on a decentralized network maintained by some of the world's most respected energy companies. So the people that are building this, not just using this, but building this, are the real deal, like some of the biggest companies in the world. So I want to give you a couple of examples of the kind of things that they're working on. Okay, so the Energy Web DOS, is made up of a couple of different tools, and this page summarizes the tools. One of them I want to focus on is Energy Web Zero. Okay, so what is that? Well, Energy Web Zero is an open source app that enables any renewable energy buyer to find and source procurement options across a wide variety of digital marketplaces globally, okay? So basically, any company that needs to buy renewable energy, which is, all of the big corporates, especially in the US, they're all getting pressure from outside, from shareholders. They've all got this corporate responsibility stuff that they need to, goals that they need to hit, and they're being pressured more and more to basically show that they're a green company, to offset their emissions, and basically try and use green energy as much as possible. Energy Web Zero is a platform that is going to allow them to purchase that energy and say, look, we're buying green energy, we are a green company, or at least doing everything we can to to offset our impact on the environment. And there are massive budgets going into that for the biggest companies in the world right now, trying to show that they're able to do that. Okay, and Energy Web is basically building a marketplace for them to be able to do that. And all of this stuff, by the way, runs on the Energy Web chain, which is powered by the Energy Web token, which is what I've invested in. Next, Energy Web Origin. Okay, so Energy Web Origin suite of SDKs supports existing and emerging renewable energy and carbon markets to simplify and enhance the issuance, tracking, buying and selling of energy attribute certificates. So what does that mean? Okay, so again, it's about proving where energy comes from. Okay, so these are renewable energy certificates, guarantees of origin, and international renewable energy certificates. So again, it's about companies being able to say, this is where our energy is coming from. You know, we are a green company. And a lot of these technologies, they're starting to be used in blockchain as well. The Energy Web Foundation actually did a project with Ripple XRP recently, where they built a platform to decarbonize the entire XRP ledger, okay? So that all of the energy that is used to power that ledger is obviously a huge network, is actually made green, okay, by Energy Web 0. That's why that was originally built. And there's a lot of talk now about them trying to eventually do that for the entire Bitcoin network and being able to certify certain Bitcoins as green and produced by green energy. So, you've got people like Elon Musk, talking about renewable energy, but also, investing in Bitcoin, which has a huge footprint. Somebody like him is going to want to buy, you would think, Bitcoins that are certified and provably green. So these are the kind of things that Energy Web are working on. And then the thing that I think is most interesting in this DOS, this decentralized operating system, is Energy Web Flex. Okay, so let's talk about what that is. Now, Energy Web Flex is a suite of SDKs that enable grid operators, including vertically integrated utilities, distribution system operators and transmission system operators to integrate distributed energy resources into energy markets and demand flexibility programs. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's all about, the key term here is DER, so distributed energy resources. So these are things like electric vehicles, solar systems, heaters, and things like that people have at their homes and businesses, that can actually form part of the grid and buy and sell energy, both from the grid but also back to the grid. And that would all, they're trying to get this done via the Energy Web chain, and obviously processing transactions using the Energy Web token. Okay. Now, one of the news releases that came out towards the end of last year, this Flex technology has actually been used by the German Federal Energy Agency called DENA. Okay, they have actually selected Energy Web to design and construct a digital registry for distributed energy resources across the entire country, with more than 20 industry players in Germany. Okay, so like we just said, we're talking about single assets that individuals can own. So the project will enable energy assets in Germany, such as thermostats, solar PV systems, batteries, and electric vehicles, and charging stations, to undertake automatic registration with a decentralized ledger of identities, so that basically they can all be connected to this one grid in Germany, okay, for the entire country. Now, that is massive. You might need to read this a few times to figure out like what that actually means, but that is massive. That is the German Federal Energy Agency basically saying to Energy Web, we want you to basically build the platform that is going to onboard every single one of these devices in the whole country, allow them to communicate with each other, and things like that. That is massive. You don't get a bigger partnership than that in crypto and blockchain. Okay, now at the start of the Energy Web section, I mentioned that this project was being built and run by some huge companies, at some of the biggest in the world. So if you go to this page on their website, the Validator network, okay, it really kind of highlights how big this is. So the Energy Web chain is one of the only public blockchains among any industry worldwide whose validator nodes are run by known corporations, many of them some of the largest and most respected energy companies globally. Okay, so people running the nodes on this network and validating the transactions, it's not some kid in his basement setting up a node on a VPS to try and earn staking rewards. No, you can't just sign up to this network and run a node. You have to be an energy participant, ideally a big energy company. And these are the companies that are actually running, that are actually validating transactions on the energy web chain. So the likes of EDF, Engie, TEPCO, Vodafone, these companies have billions of dollars in revenue. And like I said, they're not just using this, they founded this organization and they're running the nodes. Like, this isn't something that they're just gonna let fail. Like, this is huge. These guys have gone all in on this. They know renewables is the future. And you have the biggest energy companies in the world all working on this one project. And to me, like, it's getting some coverage on social and YouTube and things like that, but nowhere near what is, what would actually be a fair amount of coverage for how big this network actually is. And we can actually see, so this is a live kind of web of all the validators on the chain currently. So you can go and see the individual companies. So EDF, primarily based in France, they have almost 40 million customers, 40 million energy customers, and this company is taking their time to basically build this network and validate transactions on this chain. They're not doing that for no reason, okay? Another one, Shell, might have heard of them. One of the biggest companies in the world. Shell was a founding member of Energy Web. They're shilling Energy Web on their own socials. Again, they're all in on this. They know this is the future. Vodafone, one of the biggest telecom companies in the United Kingdom and in Europe, probably of the world. Okay, why a telecoms company? Well, they have the SIM card technology, the SIM card that can sit in all these devices like a thermostat or whatever, and communicate with this global network and allow these individuals with their devices to take part in the energy markets with their own devices from using the energy web chain. Okay, so big partners, probably the biggest partners you will see in terms of fundamentals. It doesn't get any better than this. And it's not just as though Energy Web are out there claiming, oh, we're partnered with this company, we're partnered with that company. It's actually the other way around. It's these huge companies are saying, oh, we're partnered with Energy Web. They're the ones bigging it up. So this is the official Vodafone website here. Okay, Vodafone, one of the biggest companies in Europe. Their director of IoT is basically saying, he's wrote this article, and they're basically bigging up the fact that they've partnered with Energy Web to basically achieve this goal that they have, which is related to the kind of things that we've been talking about. And you can go and read this. Okay, another one, Shell. This is Shell's blockchain page. Okay, this isn't some blog post on the Shell website. This is their official blockchain page. And I just want to bring your attention to this one section. So they have an FAQ part that says, what could blockchain mean for the energy industry? At the bottom here, for example, I'm not going to read all this, but basically we'll just read the last part. They give some examples of what they're going to do, a few potential goals, and then they say, on a larger scale, we see a consortium like the Energy Web Foundation, of which Shell is one of the founding members, building the infrastructure. Okay, so they're talking about moving the energy markets onto blockchain for renewables, for allowing customers to take part in energy markets. And they're saying that they think the Energy Web Foundation is going to build the infrastructure, like, for the whole thing. This is Shell saying that, and Shell actually helped form the Energy Web Foundation. So you don't get partnerships like this with other blockchains. You don't get companies like Shell going out there saying, oh, we're working with Energy Web. Like, how cool is that? You don't get that anywhere else. So right now, I think Energy Web is extremely undervalued. The fundamentals are second to none, and you can see, $500 million market cap, but it's been going down the last couple of months. I made a video about this, about $11 a couple of weeks ago with some technicals. But again, I think this, when this really starts to kick off and some more of these projects become live, this is just going to be absolutely huge, and it's hard to imagine the scale that this could be on if everything goes to plan. So that is Energy Web. Now, number 3, Number three is one that is definitely, in my opinion, not covered as much as it should be. It's very, very under the radar. A lot of people haven't heard of it. A lot of people that have heard of it don't know what it is. So this is the ultimate under the radar one, probably the riskiest of the three, but one that I've been in for a while. And that is Zenon Network, ZNN, okay? So current market cap, $60 million. You can see they've basically been ranging for a while. Recently, in the last couple of weeks, they kind of went up to the $15, $18 range. We're currently at $9.96. The reason that this chart is so volatile, a lot of these prices aren't really real. The networks that they're on, the exchanges that they're on, are just super illiquid, not the most trustworthy. Most people don't have accounts there. A lot of people don't want to use them. So the spread is super, super wide. You can sell 100 tokens and move the price by like $5 on some days. So don't kind of pay too much attention to the price fluctuations on this one. The reason it's like that is because we're very, very early. They're not going to be releasing on any larger exchanges until their mainnet is live, which is going to be very, very soon. And then we've been told that some larger exchanges are coming and liquidity will be better. Now, what is Zenon? Okay, so Zenon is a new layer one. Their website is extremely slick. And I'm going to give you a short intro to what this is, because there's a lot to this. There's a lot to dig into. The information on this project is quite fragmented all over the place. And I'm going to give you a resource that you can go to learn about this. But this is one that I'm very excited about for 2021. I think this is going to be one of the best altcoins of this year. So let's have a look at what it is. So the network of momentum, Zenon is an evolutionary step in distributed ledger technology, enabling an efficient trust layer for transfer of value and data globally. Based on a network of momentum, it proposes a new type of architecture designed to overcome the limitations of current blockchain and DAG-based cryptocurrencies. Okay, so basically it's a network that is designed to be infinitely scalable, almost infinitely fast, have fees that are almost infinitely small. Okay, now, like I said, it's hard to find some information about this project, and I'm going to give you a guide in a minute. Now, there are a few things here that some people might consider to be red flags. The team is anonymous, okay? I've been in this project for a while, and I personally trust them. They did raise a bunch of money up front and then gave it all back. So, I can see why some people are skeptical of this. I personally think this is the real deal, but it is an anonymous team. So do with that information what you will, and invest accordingly. Okay. Now, this is a guide that came out a couple of days ago, and I suggest you go and look this up, because this project is incredibly technical. There's a lot of scattered information, but this basically sums it all up and puts it into one place. So the guide's on Medium. It's called Zenon Network, an Ape's Guide to the Galaxy. This is where you should start if you want to learn about this project. Okay, now let's have a look at exactly what it is. So we'll go into the TLDR. So Zenon is a novel dual ledger architecture that aims at removing the entry barrier for developing high-performance decentralized applications by enabling a zero infrastructure platform with minimum setup and costs, okay? Zenon was 100% fairly launched by an anonymous team, and it uses a unique dual coin approach with cutting-edge underlying economics. So Zenon, ZNN is the main cryptocurrency with a disinflationary emission rate, and then QSR, which basically acts like the gas of the network, okay? So what I would do is I would go and I would read this guide, and I would really, really dive into it. It's going to take a lot to get through, but it's really, really worth it. Now, a couple of reasons why I like this. One, the tokenomics are fantastic. The supply is deflationary. The staking rewards and the node rewards, I've been running a node for a while, are very, very healthy, and I think they're only going to get better when the mainnet launches very, very shortly. Also, this team have been working under the radar without really talking about what they're doing too much, dropping a few hints here and there. They haven't been bigging themselves up. They've just been building, and they've been releasing versions of the product, which are very, very good. Like I mentioned just now, they did raise some money, and they gave all of that money back. So that leads to other questions like, how is this project being funded? How have you been building this for a couple of years with a team of developers that are obviously incredibly highly skilled, but you haven't raised any money because you gave it all back? So who's backing it? Where's the money coming from? Things like that. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors about who is behind this, who's building this, who the partners are. They said they're going to be launching with really big industry partners over the next couple of months. There's a lot of speculation about who those can be. There's a lot of dots that you can connect, and every road that you go down, it leads somewhere very, very big and very, very exciting. So I would encourage you to dive into this for yourself. Now, there's one thing that I want to focus on here, which people are getting really, really excited about, which I think is potentially going to be awesome. I just want to find this is the white paper, by the way, which is very technical. And I definitely read it if you're interested in the underlying technology. What am I looking for here? So I am looking for the potential Bitcoin interoperability, which, okay, here we go. So this is a speculative section in this post. And warning, the contents coming up in this section are speculative. So one thing that people are really excited about is potential Bitcoin interoperability. Okay, so I'm just going to read this because it sums it up really well, and this could be absolutely massive if this turns out to be the case. So due to the team's expressed close relationship to the Bitcoin protocol, there's a widespread assumption in the community that POW links, proof of work links, will also contribute to cross-blockchain interoperability, basically to the Bitcoin protocol. And that will be a way to utilize the most established and public blockchain, Bitcoin, as the ultimate escalation level for consensus disputes within the network of momentum. Okay, so de facto ultimate trust layer that uses Bitcoin. Okay, and then there's other assumptions that come from that include Zenon potentially being able to run DeFi applications on top of Bitcoin. Okay. And there's a couple of excerpts from AMAs here that have really hinted that this could potentially be the case. Okay, here one of the answers to one of the community AMAs a couple of months ago. In Network of Momentum Phase 1, we will focus on interoperability with Bitcoin using novel cryptographic approaches that will leverage signatures, hash locks, and time locks. Okay, so again, a lot of this is speculation. It's all dot connecting. If you like going down rabbit holes, you like trying to connect things together and make connections, I would definitely look at Zenon. Like I said, it's an anonymous team, so keep that in mind. I am personally sold on it. It's up to you after doing your research if you also want to get involved. But I think that this is going to be a really big one. I think it's going to come out of nowhere and people are going to be like, oh wow, what is Zenon? Why have I not heard of it? This thing is just blowing up. Okay, so those are 3 of my top altcoins for 2021. Dive into them, do your own research, decide if they're for you. If you like this video, please hit the like button, please leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out because we're a small channel, pretty new. And yep, that is it. I will see you next time, and yeah, have a great day.